Yeah, good evening. Everybody's just coming into. Yeah, hello. Okay, we'll be taking SSH brute forcer today. I believe you all have your Metasploit installed. So if you have it installed, you can actually bring it up. That's what we'll be using as example. So I just ran the script, and actually, as you can see, password found. So how many people have been able to actually do their stuff? How many people have been able to actually download and install that torrent? How many people? Okay, it's still down. It's still downloading since yesterday. That's interesting. Okay, who again is downloading? Okay. Okay, we'll move on from there. So basically, what you'll be learning today is now, instead of now, you see this particular list here, while you can use that for that particular, using enter, okay, not this one. Let me share my screen. So that particular list is an asset to you. You keep it when you are actually, you understand. So now when you actually use that script to actually extract username and password, now you want to now use your brute forcer. Are you seeing? I've actually done my own part here, and you can see motikore wale. So that's the first part. Now, so we start this script from afresh. So we do it now. When you use your breach path to actually attack a site or this thing, hello, are you there? Can you hear me? If you can hear me, say yes. So you've gathered username and password. Obviously, the username might be having problem. So if you can identify the target IP address, you understand? Now you can now use this particular brute forcer Python tool to now get from your list of password. It will now scan and scan and scan. It will not tell you for so and so username. This is the password. Are you getting it? So you have the breach path. That one can actually gather. You understand? I don't know if you hear Yoruba very well. So how many people are Yoruba? So the breach path we gather. So you now use this one to fine tune. To fine tune it. Strictly ethical. Are you getting it? So having said that, we move straight to today's. So we're actually doing what? Brute forcer, the brute. Mr. Olalekan. Okay, as everybody started downloading, do you now know how to do it? Or somebody want to show us how to do it? Let's make this class a little bit practical. I will invite somebody now. Bolao, share your script, you that you have downloaded it, and show them how you did it. You understand? So now that you have downloaded it, did you run the script? Mr. Bolao, who else has actually done what we are saying? Mr. Bolao is not here. Okay. Mr. Ilori, have you done yours? Okay, come to the table and actually share come to the screen and share your screen with everybody and show us how you did it before we start for today. Okay. Are you here?
Hello, good evening.
Okay, can you share your screen and show us how you downloaded your torrent so that everybody will benefit from it? How you downloaded, where it is?
Okay.
Share.
Give me a second. Give me a second. My VMware is still booting up.
Okay, you downloaded it in the VMware.
Yes, I downloaded it to the VMware, to the Linux.
Okay,
Linux
show
on
us
my
how you
VMware.
did it. Show us how you did it.
Okay, just give me a second. Let
It's a
this.
practical class so that everybody. Some people might not be downloading; they'll just be lying that they are downloading. The one I showed you yesterday is the updated one. The one I showed you yesterday is the updated one. So you can go back to Google and actually GitHub and git clone it into your system. So we're waiting for you, Mr. Ilori.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Where did you copy the magnet from? Where did you copy the magnet from?
Okay, I copied the magnet from the GitHub link you sent.
Okay, the whole
From the
link. Okay, then you pasted
Yes,
it.
I copied it from where magnet started.
Sorry, can you go to that place and show them?
Okay, let me
Just
you know. Okay.
Google.
Okay, Okay, so let me share this screen now. Ah, network going to disappear.
What is that?
Okay. Sorry. Can you see my screen?
No, we are not seeing your screen. We are just seeing where you are just talking. We're no longer. Or can you see his screen?
Okay. What of now?
It's not showing. Okay, it's coming up now.
Okay, let me change back my dates. Okay, which screen are you seeing? Is it the VMware screen or the?
We are seeing quad core HP 27 something quad core, core 4 gig 500 gigabit laptop. I don't know. Is that your screen or I don't know?
Oh,
Is
okay. Okay, yeah, that's my screen. Okay, I know where I see now. Okay. Uh, okay, let me.
okay? You install BitTorrent,
Okay.
QBitTorrent. Did you
Yes,
install?
I did. I installed.
You installed it where on the VMware?
I installed it on the VMware. So
Okay,
what I did was to install the VMware. Okay, let me. Can you see my screen? I want to show you the command I used. Is my
okay.
VMware still showing?
Your VMware is not showing.
Okay. Okay, it should be showing now.
It's not showing. We're not seeing it. Okay, it's coming up. Okay,
Okay. So this is what I did. If you can see my screen, you can see my VMware screen. You see I did sudo apt-get install qBittorrent.
okay, good. So you installed it directly
Okay,
on
so
the.
I yes on the using from the terminal.
Okay,
So yeah, after installing, I also did updates to make sure it's properly installed.
okay,
Then I launch it with once it's installed, once it complete install, I launch it by using qBittorrent, just typing it and pressing enter.
okay,
It will launch the qBittorrent app, as you can
okay,
see.
okay. Good. That's
Okay,
good.
so once so,
Then the which
yeah,
where
but
did you get the how did you paste the torrent here?
okay, so if you can see my screen, you see towards at the below where the root file here and the BitTorrent screen. There's a link here. If you can see my cursor,
Yeah. Yeah.
so if you click on that place, it will come up with a window saying "Add torrent links."
Okay. So you now
So
go to
this is
that place.
where, yeah. So I went to my
Is it the old link you pasted or you pasted a particular part of it?
the entire screen, the entire what they
Can
call
you
it, the
can, can,
entire.
can you go to Google and copy it? Go to
Yes, I
Google.
copied from. Yeah, let me see. Okay. I will have to switch. Let me switch the screen to the Google so that I can see it.
You share entire screen, you don't share tabs. You are sharing tabs. So that as you move from one screen to the other, it's easy. You don't need to be
Okay.
sharing the tabs. Share the entire screen. You are sharing a tab. So please,
Can
I
you
just
see
want
it?
someone. No, no, it's not. We're not seeing anything. Okay, it's just coming up.
Okay. So let's go to Google. Um,
That thing is 1.4
okay, I
billion
just
password.
search
1.4
point
billion.
two. Yeah.
Clear text.
So this is the GitHub link I used.
So click on it. So we want to see what you copied and what you pasted. So it should be easy for everybody to actually do.
Okay, so this is the where I can still see my screen.
Yeah. So you started from where? From the magnet. Which one did
From
you
the
copy?
magnet. Yes, from the
Highlight
magnet
what
to
you copied. Highlight what you copied.
okay.
Okay.
I've highlighted. Can you see it now?
Okay, you copied everything and you pasted it this way inside
Everything.
that,
Yes.
and you started downloading.
Yes. So
Now, who
once
has
you
finished downloading? Who has finished downloading his own? Mr. Gbona, once you go, you now paste it into that place, right?
yes, just paste it here and click on download.
It will
It will
start
start.
downloading.
If you don't copy the everything, it will not download. It will be giving
Okay,
error. So
good.
you have to copy from that magnet to the end.
Good. I probably ask those questions because I know you will have errors if you don't copy everything. Now, back to who has downloaded his own and ran the script. Mr. Gbala, you said you've downloaded your own. Did you run the script?
So can I stop sharing?
No, you can stop sharing. Then what is it giving you? You can stop sharing. What is it giving you? Were you able to generate any data from it? Okay.
Okay, me, I've not finished downloading my own. My own is still downloading.
Okay, all right, that's fine. So let me share my screen now. Did you put it? You could not find it directly at. Did you put it in this directory this way? Is it saved in this? Is it saved this way in that directory? Downloads, breach compilation data. Okay. Now, if you are having problem doing that, you can actually alter the location, then actually from the file. We do that tomorrow. So what we are treating today, just keep downloading it. What we are treating. Okay, let me clear. Sorry, excuse me. Sorry, excuse me. So if you ls, that's breach path. So if you change directory to breach path, so that you need this particular script. So you ls, you now nano. So as you can see, come to this place, please. This is the location. So if it's not properly like this, are you getting it? If it's not this way, it will not work. It will not locate it. So that is, I don't know the script you have. This is the one I have. And this is the one I recommend you use. Are you seeing the way it is? So you have declared the breach location. Okay, what is in that data? What did you see the billion, the clear text password there? So, okay, good. So now check your script very well. Maybe you're using the wrong script. So that, let me show you the script you should use if it is actually clearly stated this way. Are you sure in your script, do you have this location declared this way? Assume data location. So if you have it declared this way, so it should work. Are you getting it? But that's not what we actually treat today. We treat it next class. So what we are doing today is what we are doing, what SSH brute force. Now we've looked at vulnerability scanner, we've looked at Clear. So it's a straightforward program. We just write it. We'll write the first one today, then we'll now write the second one tomorrow. I guess we all actually still remember our Metasploit table. I have mine up here. Why is it acting up? Good. So this is mine coming up. If I do ifconfig, so as you can see, my IP address here is what? Target. So let's start using the target IP address. There are two different systems. One will hack into or extract the password of this system. Now, you know, we know the password of this system. We know the password. I am the one who, both for the MSF admin and this. So we know the password. So what we'll be doing, we'll write a script. Okay, all right, that's fine. The data are there. Okay, we'll write. So what we want to do is one of us actually log into this manually, then create a script to run against a list of passwords to extract what the password. I will do it manually, then do it with the script. Then I will now code the script together. As you can see, this is my target machine. I have the IP address. Now I want to target it. Now secure. This is where we are. We have all done this particular stuff before. So SSH. So let me look at MSF admin at 192. So this is my target IP. So I know the password. I will manually type in the password. So you see, simple. That's because I know. But in the real life scenario, you will not know the password. Now, like I told you, all you are doing is what? All you do is what? The 7 stage, the stages of hacking. Are you getting it? So you gather information. Now, not all the information you'll be able to get from what? From Nmap. Now we've logged in as MSF admin. You can exit, then come back. Now, but there are scripts for actually doing this. Are you getting it? That is why this particular script, it will extract username and password. Now, if you have, maybe you want to target any site, you now look like you do something like this. Breach pass at the site.com. This is where your data is. So you can have this data, you can actually extract it, and actually not all the time you actually you can still leave it there and quote where the text is coming from. So somebody like you who has downloaded the data now, you will actually try it. You try it out here. Now, what this will give you, it will give you a lot of username and password. That is what it will generate for you. Now, when you now want to actually use a brute forcer, we have one here. So this is my target address. So with that tool you have, with this tool you have, this bridge path, you should have a lot of what username. So you know the username you are looking for. You can put the username. In this case, we're actually using MSF admin. I have created what? A password text list already. So you just write it will start scanning it. So it will generate what for that particular account. It will tell you that this is the password. This is what an attack. It will tell you, it will start writing and tell you that this is a password. So it tells you the one that are incorrect, the one that is correct. Is one, so it will tell you the password. So what it's trying to do is trying to log in. So once it's able to log in, it will tell you, okay, this is the correct password. So are you seeing? So it has brought out what the real, so it's running it over tons of what password it has in it. So we'll run this one today. Then when we come, you look at how you now run it. So the model, that's why I told you that's the list. So I don't know if can you now correlate how you actually attack. Good. So let's start coding it. So I'll clear my screen. I believe you all know your username, you know your root password. You've set it. So when you are creating your list, you create your list accordingly. Now, this is what is in my own password list. I just created so that I'll be able to demonstrate it to you. But in real life, so these are the list, clear text. Now, it is not hash. It is clear text password. Are you getting it? On most occasions, when you go to site, when you extract password, you extract the hash. Then you now do what? You now actually convert it. But this was a clear text passwords. When I clear, so let's write gedit brute force. Sorry. SSH brute force 2.py. So we are starting to write one afresh. So the first thing you do, you declare your what? Your kernel. So you import some libraries. You import what? Some libraries. You import what? Paramico. You import sys. You import OS. You import socket because you have to connect socket. Then you import temp color. You notice that it printed out that stuff in green. So this is the library that does that. Now the first thing we declare is what? Our input host is equals to input target address. Then username. Input username. Then input your file. Input did you call them? So that is the first stage you actually get to. You impute those stuff. These are the input, 3 input, the target address, the target username, then your password file. Now let's define the path. Now we say if OS path, that's the part of the file, dot exit into input underscore file is equals to what? False. That means if the file that you've put in is equals to false. Print that file stroke path does not exist. Then you exit, it simply exit the program at that part. So that part takes care of all the inputs. So with that, we finish what? The first part of the program. So I don't know if anybody has any question to ask. So the libraries we're importing Paramico, we're importing Sys, we're importing OS, we're importing Socket, we're importing Temcolor. Now, what exactly are we trying to do? We want to use what? To connect to a remote target using SSH. So we have to know, at least we have to know the username. Then we run the script on a series of what? Password to generate what? The right password. So now, how do we read this file? Like the former one, you come here and say, with open input underscore file, comma, you read it, read as what file? So you can remember this command for line in file.readlines. So this function is used to actually read lines. So password, you strip the password line so that there'll be nothing, it doesn't come with any password equals to what? Line or strip. So so that's where the connection starts coming in. So as we are reading the file, you should use it to try to connect. What the script does is this: it has your username. Now, in all the inputs, two things are static: the IP address, then the username. So what is iterating is actually what? The password. So it will try to connect with the first password. If you can't connect, it will tell you incorrect. It tries to connect with all those other, it tries to incorrect. So it should try what? So we have to define a function called what? SSH underscore connect. We have not defined it. So we have to define that function before we now actually list this iteration. So let's define that first function of SSH underscore. We can come here and define it. Define, so the function that we use to connect. Please, do you understand it up to this stage? We declared what? 3 variables. Now, the input password file, we now want to read it, but we need a function to use it to connect. But we have not defined that function. Now, let's define that function, SSH underscore connect. Now, it has 2 parameters. One, password, that the list of password, comma, then code is equals to what? 0. So that in case it does not connecting, it comes back to what? Default. Now, what you use to iterate is this library called Paramico. So SSH is equals to what? Paramico dot SSH client. So it has its own policy too. SSH dot set missing host key policy. So bracket Paramico dot autohard policy, open bracket, close bracket. So that sorts that place out. So now this function, because what we are calling here is actually this function. Now the next thing we need to do is what? Try SSH dot connect into what? It has 4 parameters. The host. Now, normally it connects what? Using what? Port 22. Then username is set to username, comma. Then password is equals password. So we have exception when the code is equals to 1, then when the code is equals to 2. Except Paramico dot authentication exception code equals 1 except socket.error as E. Code is equals to 2. So you can now, SSH.close. So return code. So So with this part, we've defined the function. So what it means now, when it actually scans through, yeah, it tries to connect. Now, the first exception means if nothing happens, it comes back. This code equals 0 tells it to come back and reiterate. Now, it's 1 is when it is correct. When it's not, when there is other exceptions, now the return code tells this to come back to what? Reiterate. So what it simply means is this: if you are trying it and it's incorrect, come back and try it. Now, when it is correct, you print out what? The code. Now, when we come back to this place where it was supposed to connect, now we'll try what? Response. As it's reading it, we'll define the function now. What we need to now is now complete that part, because there's a function of SSH connect. So try response, because all you get is what? Response is equals to what? SSH underscore connect, using the what? The password list you have provided. So if response is equals to what? 0, print and break. Are you getting it? If response is equals to 1, print incorrect. If response is equals to 2, can't connect. Then it exits what? The program. Then if there are any other error, now for the code becomes one. This is where it's actually explicitly, this E starts for any other error. So now if response is equals to 0, print, let me first write it this way. Found password. Found password. For account. Username. So you can now either close it here, but we actually want it to print it out in what? In colored. So that's now we now bring in what? The term colored function. So you can come here and actually write term color dot colored. Term color dot colored. So at the end here, so you tell it what exactly it should print out, comma, green. Then we put double close bracket. So if response is equals to 0, it should print out found password. Else, if response is equals to 1, so else if response is equals to 1, print incorrect login plus password. To print can't connect. So you exit. One. Then the final exception, I think this is an example of except, an example of a nested exception as E. Any other error, this is what this means. Pass. So that's the script in a nutshell. That's the ending. So normally what you do is, you know, for the purpose of this class, this one does not have trading. So the one will come next time, we look at the trading. For the purpose of this class, you know your username and your password in your MSF admin, in your Metasploit. So I believe we all, please, if you follow up to this stage, just say yes. If you follow up to this stage, just say yes. Or if you have a question to ask, so that I can actually explain it from the beginning again. For others, please, if you follow up to this place, you understand what we are trying to do from day one up to this point. Okay, I'm just reading your response. Now, we are, for those who are just coming in, let me check. I think you are about 10. So we can go through this one more time so that you get it clearly. So what we are trying to do here is this. I believe you can remember this exercise. Let me save this. Now, these are two different machines. I don't know why it's so hard to actually log into this stuff. This is my Metasploit. This one machine, my Metasploit table. Then this is another one, my Kali Linux terminal. So we once practice this by logging in from one place to the other. So now we want to automate the process by creating a script that can actually try to connect to this target. This is our target machine. Since we know the username, run the password all through it so that it can actually get the target. So when you look at what we've been able to do so far, when you look at what we've been able to do so far, we created a script. Now, this is the script we wrote. Now, the first thing, how do we go about this? Let's declare the input. Now, we know our target IP in form of IP. We do not actually add code it to actually convert what IP to what socket. If you want to add that, maybe you want it to be able to do multiple, you make the script more complicated. Now, we know the username, the SSH username. Now, the password file you want to actually attach so that it reiterates upon, you actually declare it there. Those are the three inputs you put. Now, if the part of the password file it is not correct, it will print it out and exit the program. Now, if it is correct, it will read the file with this particular open file and start reading it. But as it's reading it, we need a function to connect. So we came here to define the function, which is ssh.connect. Using password, our variables is what, or parameters in it are password and code equals to 0. That means when the code equals to 0, it has found the password. It breaks away from the program. Now, other functions were defined. Now, we imported Paramico, sys, OS, socket, and temp color. Those are the libraries we imported. So now SSH set policies we are declared. Then you try to connect to the host ssh.connect using 4 variables or parameter. We set what? Host. The port to connect is always port 22. Username is set to username. Password is set to password. If you look at that bridge pass, you see this method here now. Except Paramico authentication exception, code is equals to what? 1. Now, this particular stuff is because when it cannot connect, there is an exception. The response should be what? When there is an exception, it should actually print out what? Incorrect login. That means the authentication policy did not work out. Now, if it's actually any other error, it should print out what? It says the code. Like any other error, the code equals 2. At code equals 2, it prints out what? Can't connect. So it's for any other exception, it passes. So I don't know, it's a brief tool. It's not as complex because the more you do the project, since you're now getting to know it, the more it's easier to become. Because we're not going to write a script that is going to 300 lines. You do that when you get to the main simulator training, not here. So mine is this. The essence of this particular training is to give you that foundational start you need. And I can congratulate you. You are doing very, very well. Because if you can go this far, some people in master's class, even in UK, they don't know how to write codes like this. So if you have any question to ask regarding this before we run it, it only has just 2 sessions. The first input parameter, the code, the defining the function for connecting, then the other part. Other ones add up to 4 functions. So if you have any questions to ask, you can ask. So let's try to run this script. I've already written one before. There's no need. SS. Yeah, I'll do that. Okay. we're having some errors, so you start editing 12. I think it's supposed to, this one is supposed to come here. Then this, sorry, 1 minute. That's supposed to be, it's not properly positioned. So that's where we have the issue. We will run it first before I share with you. I just wrote it now. We have to run it. It works. They will not share the code. So it's always easier you follow. So that it doesn't look like copy and paste. So we'll have line 25. This should be equals. Yeah, that's equals, not equals to. That should be equals to false. And 34. Okay, they are all equal. They are all equal. Sorry, that skipped. Indented, so see, I think it's now on the same part. Okay, so you see it's now working. So this is the best time. So if we do 192.168 dot 249.130 let's see root ss hboot.txt. What's this? Let's root in line 31. Sorry. That's what equals line dot strip. Try. Yeah, that's it. That's what it should give us. Response. No, it's not equals. It's not equals. It's not equals. It's equals to. It's not equals. There's nothing wrong with that part. I've not seen any error there. Open. Password. Let's scroll up. Let's come to the define function part. I think that's where we might have error. So let's save. Clear. I'm not seeing any error in it. Let me try to bring up the system more like it is down. Okay. It is now up ifconfig. Sure. Two four nine. So that is root. Whoa. Attribute. Okay, that strip is not properly spelled. That strip is not properly spelled. That is what it's saying in line 31. It is not properly spelled. So it's not properly spelled. So that's why it's having problem. So it's line.strip. So it's not properly spelled. So I guess you guys can see that. So that part is not properly spelled. So otherwise it should not have problem. It's line.strip. So when we save that, I don't think we should have any problem. Put that. Password SSH. No, has no module Paramiko has no SSH client. Wow. Gedit. So let's come back here. Oh, declared the Paramiko policy. Set host key. Right. Paramiko.autohard policy. Here, try connect. Paramiko authentication. Import Paramiko. Client spelling. Oh. Oh, fuck, I was wondering. Okay, SSH client. Sorry, thanks for the observation. Looking so clumsy, let's clear. root. So it has started scanning. So that's at that point, you can now start actually sending it to people. So you're not afraid to actually write. So that's it. For mine, it has found the password. So let me just show you my backend. Then you guys can complete it. So this is the simplest part. This is the simplest model of it. One. Sorry. Two. So for every other person who feels his script is not running, that's why now it's one little or two little mistake like that you've done that is actually making the script not run. They're very sensitive. So you can write yours. I'll take a pause here, then run your script yourself. Now, again, you bring up your Metasploit table. You know the IP address of your Metasploit table. You know the you know the username of your Metasploit table and the password. Now use the password to create a password list. As you can see, I have a password list. Let everything be in the same directory. The first thing you do, you make directory what? SSH brute force. Now everything I'm using is in the same directory. Now this is my own password list. If I cut it, these are the lists. I just created 10 password list.txt, which include the sorry. It includes the password list of it includes just created all the password list. So that's that. So you can create your password list. You know the password for your MSF. So our target machine is your Metasploit. So we're using the IP. You know your own IP. Do you put your IP there as your target machine? You know your username. You know that. So I can use root. I can use what MSF admin. So if I come back, because I know both of the password and I've created. So let me use it as MSF admin because I know the root password 249. To username is MSF admin. So the same list of password. So sorry, the wrong IP address. I typed in the wrong IP address. It's 192.168.249.130. That's the right IP address. So everything was properly written. I guess you guys can knock yourself out already because it's simple and straightforward. So that you can be chatting online. If there's any problem, we can solve it. I need to run into a board meeting. So anybody who has any question, you can ask, please, before I leave. So you can just do yours and run your script. Please, if you have any question, you can ask. Does anybody have any question? So like I said, in a real life scenario, I've not been seeing this guy here. In the real life scenario, you will not get a password that you know. So you should have a list of clear text password. Now, if you are actually doing active reconnaissance or passive reconnaissance to any site, what else do you do? You understand? What else do you do? You actually no, you generate your own. I just generated any number at random. But what you are generating should include what? The password, so that this particular run, you can see that it's running. Now, it's just for what? Classroom. If I cut it, I just wrote password at random. As you can see, Shola, Tola, Michael, Kola. But I make sure I put in what? The password of both username. Are you getting it? So you can generate your own. I don't know. I've answered your question, Mr. Bobolao. So you can just come up with any password. Yes, or you don't know how to write into a text file. You can come here. If it's that one that is your problem, come here. Come to desktop. Right click, and no, you know your username. We're only using 2 cases now. The username for your Metasploit. How many username do you have? You have MSF admin, then you have your root. What is the password? You understand? What is your password? So is the password that you now use in that list. Have you forgotten how you logged into this place? Please, can you relog in into your Metasploit table? So is the password you now add to the list you create. So is the password you now add to the list you create. So that when you now add that list, like I said, I was trying to explain the real life scenario. In real life scenario, you will only know the username, you don't know the password. So you have a list of clear text password. You are doing penetration testing. Now, with that first breach pass tool, you would have extracted different username. So you want to now use this tool, but if you know the target IP, you understand, and you want to actually log into an account there, so you can now put the username, the target IP, then it now runs and this is the password. With that, you can now log in. Although, are you getting it? So that is actually the real world scenario. So please, anybody with any other question? So basically, what I did is this, so that you can get it. There are 2 accounts here. We have root, we have MSF admin. Now, if you look at the password list, so that I can make it, I try not to make it too simple because I want you people to start thinking creatively. Now, if you look at it, there's MSF admin there, then there's my password for root. So I now just created any other list, so that by the time I'm running the list, let me see if you'll be able to pick up. Are you getting me? If you're able to pick out the right password, which it has been doing. That means if it's running multiple, which you will do the next class, even when the list is 1,000 or 5,000, by the time you start reiterating it, that one you would have included the command of threading. So it does it very fast. By the time he gets to that point, he will pick another account and say, this is the password. So any question, please? Any question? So the username are the ones you know. You know, if when they ask you your username, MSF admin and root. So that is what we are using in the class. But in real life now, if you attack any website with your breach pass, you have a lot of username already. Are you getting it? To now get the right password, you can now by the time you start doing your what how will I put it? Your mmap scanning. You know a port that is open. You know this one, and you know the target IP. You put the target IP using that. So these are the full scenario on how you gather information and how you try to where are we now gaining access. So I will jam you guys tomorrow, so you can actually write your script. Run it. Then if you have any problem, just drop it on the handle there. We'll pick it up from there tomorrow.